Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco, and I nominate Ferris Bueller as the movie with the most complicated sleeping but not sleeping scene in movie history.
Oh, yeah, that's
true. Where he had the whole thing. It's a pulley system. You open his mom opens the door. He's got the sound effect. It's making sure that it moves a little bit, like he's sleeping and breathing, the head movement, all that stuff. That's amazing. I'm a little bit disappointed in Bruce for not concocting a certain thing. Now, granted, he might not have had time to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's my defense would be he didn't have a lot of time.
We will get into, because this is minute 18, right?
Right.
But he could talk to Ferris Bueller. He can learn a few things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so we're here to talk about minute 18 of The Incredible Hulk by Louis Leterrier from 2008. When we last left off, the camera probe had gone under the door, but we didn't know what they were going to find. And what they find is the dog.
The dog.
Aww.
This all happens so quick, within just like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But, you go from the shot of the guy using the little joystick, the gizmo, to the screen to where the dog is coming at the screen and then licking the edge of the camera.
Yeah. Oh, unnamed dog, you've done your doggy duty.
Dog, you may have sealed your fate.
Yeah. So we cut from that back to there, and they're frustrated, and even Ross barks out, "Get rid of the damn dog."
But do they? They don't really.
They don't really, yeah, no.
What are they going to do?
When they pull back, we get some Chris Owens, Agent Spender from X-Files. Get some nice FaceTime here, so we get to see some nice close-ups of him. So let's talk about guns, because all these guys are carrying guns, and I found there's actually something called the Internet Movie Firearms Database. And they go through all the movies and tell you what kind of guns each person is carrying.
What?
It's true. So for gun nuts out there, I can tell you what he's carrying. Our friend Chris Owens here, the guy who's working the cam, he's carrying a SIG SG-522. Blonsky is actually carrying a Heckler & Koch MP5A3. All these of course, have been modified to shoot darts instead of the stuff too. The other person we see heavily on screen here is Al Verkjian. He's the one who's also the gunsmith. Like, he's the guy who actually does guns on movies. And he's carrying a Heckler & Koch G36C. So you can go to the Internet Movie Firearms Database, and you can see they got screenshots, they've got pictures of the guns, links to it, all that kind of stuff. If you're a gun person, this is a good thing to go, but for us, it's just more trivia. But
no, that's really interesting. And as you were saying out those names, I thought to myself, the only reason I know some of those names is singularly because of GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64.
Right.
Right? Like, that was the first, I remember, to me, that was the first game where it was like, oh, I got to know what the SIG is. Oh, yeah, we're using that, right? And of course, now today, if you're a modern game player, you have all of the abilities to pick very specific real-world firearms to know all this.
Your Modern Warfare, which has modern guns. You have your Call of Duties, which have like period-specific ones. Like, was this gun available during 1942 that we could use it?
So I know you've talked about the armory specialist, the person who's the person on the movie who was designed for this. So for scenes like this, I would assume it's much more look. We're looking for something that looks ominous, as well as appropriately fits what they're doing in terms of the operation.
Yes, and a lot of times it also is what looks good in their hands, because some of the movie stars are big people, so you don't want to put a small gun in a big person's hand. That's why in the 90s, the Desert Eagle was a big thing, because it was a big gun.
Right.
And if you don't know what that is, you can look it up and you can see, like, oh yeah, that was in a ton. It was in Underworld, and it was in all of these movies, because it was a large weapon. A lot of times they will have them laid out and basically let the actors sort of pick which ones they want to use, to sort of to have, so that each of them get their own sort of signature gun, and then that becomes your, what they call a hero gun, because that's the one that you have that's attached to you for the rest of the shoot. So they attach to you, so whenever you come on set, then you get your gun back every time. So each of these guys carry a different weapon, which I found out. I thought it would be like a standard issue kind of thing, but no, because they're Black Ops commandos.
When you're this specialized, you get the gun that you like. That's the whole thing. Sure. I understand that.
Yeah. They put on there, they couldn't tell exactly what this was. I did some minimal research into breaching. I did it on a incognito tab, because I don't need the FBI coming to investigate me because of this podcast. And from what I can tell, this is probably C4.
probably
it's either C4 or det cord. Det cord usually looks like cord. What's this? I'll tell you, this episode, this minute 18, very macho.
Very
lots of testosterone in minute 18.
Yes. When you're talking about that kind of stuff, right?
Guns and bombs and.
So you're just saying I can't go on Google and just start searching for like explosives to breach a door?
But then the ads you're going to get are be very interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Okay.
And so this is interesting when you watch and they blow the door, and they really did this for real. I mean, they actually put a small explosive charge and they blew out that door. If you pause at the right moment, you can see that Tim Roth actually gets hit in the face with a chunk of the door. This is real. Like, I listened to the commentary and they talked about it.
Right.
How like it didn't end up wounding him that much or whatever, but like there is a big chunk of the door, and it's not a small piece. Like, it's probably 6 inches that comes flying at his face and really knocks him.
You can see his head.
Yeah.
It has an immediate jerk back as soon as the explosive goes off.
Yeah.
And it's not acting, it's reacting.
Right.
It's like, hey, right? So I wonder what happens. Like, okay, so obviously safety's paramount because we unfortunately know that accidents have occurred, especially on movie sets. When this happens, so, what's your reaction to that as an actor and also as the director and everybody? Do you just go, oh, that's okay? Or do you go, hey, let's have a safety meeting before we proceed with anything else?
Well, and for the actor, they want to be the game player. They don't want to be the one that stops the whole production. So they want to keep pushing on. But then, it's. I think there probably is a conversation that happens at the end of the day with the stunt people or the special effects or whatever, the practical effects. I guess that was.
That's practical. Yeah.
So to be like, oh, okay, so we need to not wound our actors in the future. Yeah, so a lot of ordnance going on. It turns out it was a door that almost took out Tim Roth, or at least took out one of his eyes because it's pretty close.
How tough is he?
Yeah, right.
This is the Hulk.
That's right.
In a door.
That's right.
Give me a break. That's what you get when you trank dogs. Kidding. Jeez.
So they blow the door and they breach and clear. So they go and I liked it how they did running in and then they also bust in from the back too. Sure. So like no way either side they were going to get him. So they come in
the typical full all sides modern combat assault.
And our dog, he starts barking.
Yeah, now you start barking.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Camera sausage under the door, and you're like, oh, dinner or a snack, and now you're like, oh.
But he finally did. This is the first time we've really heard him bark, and so he's late, but he got there.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a good boy.
Yeah,
he deserves pets. He doesn't deserve.
Though there is a theory. Well, we'll get to this next thing.
So then we see them. They see that someone's sleeping in the bed, so they fire on the bed. Pa 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 pa.
Yeah, there's not just one. Like about
no, they're not messing around.
Right,
and they pull back, and it's the classic maneuver.
It's Ferris.
It's the pillow and the wig under the bed. Now, the wig. Where the wig come from? So, for those of you who have been listening and doing your research at home, you'll know that in the deleted opening, when he comes back from his morning run and he has the book from the mail, he has a wig. He had there's a dummy head and a wig, and he puts his Marvel disguise, his ball cap, on top of the wig. So they did establish the wig early on, but it did not make the theatrical cut. So from this, it just seems like, why does Bruce have a wig?
Does this explain
I know, maybe this is the no prize.
What color is
right? Because he has a wig, so maybe that's why his hair is black sometimes and brown sometimes, because he has a wig.
That's brilliant.
Right. So... mystery solved.
What I really love, though, too, is when they pull the blanket back. There's some thought that went into the placement of the blanket and the pillow. The blanket is put out to where your legs would be if they were slightly bent, sleeping on your side.
That's
with
right.
I think that's Bruce well thought out.
I think he's done this a time or two.
Yeah, that's probably it. Good job.
Yeah, so then they look around and they realize he's gone. Bruce is gone. And then the dog, as soon as he barks, so what does Blonsky do? He shoots the dog.
Only once, though.
Only once. But
doesn't
still, what a villain move right there.
Absolutely.
To take the dog out. So this is actually the last time we're going to see the unnamed dog. However, another mystery has been solved in this one because I found out from the novelization of the movie, from the paperback book that was written of this, the dog's name was Ricky.
What?
Yeah. They never say it in the movie. But if those of you who are, we've been talking about the unnamed dog for this whole time and doing my dog research, I found out the dog's name in the MCU was Ricky. So Bruce's dog's name was Ricky. Ricky, you were a good boy and you deserve all the pets.
I knew I said I wasn't going to do that last episode, but I said nothing about this episode. Any meaning to that?
No,
just Ricky.
It's just Ricky. Yeah, I'm probably. I don't know. I'm not. That's the thing. I've not found out if that came from the script and then the person who wrote the novelization, kept that, or if they just went, "Oh, the dog needs a name." Well, I had a dog when I was a kid named Ricky.
And I loved him. All right, that's cool. All right, so he's the target's on foot.
Yep. Shout out to Paul Jasper, who was the animal coordinator on the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, way to go!
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you trained Ricky well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any more animals coming.
No, but
so
I mean,
that probably was like his big thing. So,
first 18 minutes of the movie, the dog did a good job.
Thank you, Paul Jasper. All right, so then we see that there's actually a rope connected to the sink, probably to the spigot. I don't say spigot very often. So, and so then that's when Blonsky realizes that Bruce is rappelling down the side of the building. Oh, they're this close. And then we cut to Bruce hanging out the side of the building, and he looks in, and it's Martina.
What?
Who apparently has just gotten out of the shower.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is like the cheesecakiest part of the movie. Like... I'm telling you, man, this is like the testosteroniest minute of Incredible Hulk
really
we've gotten before. We have guns and explosions and half naked women.
My goodness,
this is like red meat and chicken wings right here. I mean, this is,
and she really does. She pulls off the whole like, what are you doing? Hey, dude.
Yeah, hey. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that lunch.
And it turns out that exactly. The woman, the coworker he is is actually in the same building as him.
Right.
And one floor below, literally,
really?
the unit below him.
Interesting.
Yeah, so then somehow Bruce must be charming because he gone from peeping Tom to being invited in and very close quarters.
Well, I'm not sure invited in. I think he was just like, hey, I'm coming in. And we do have this...
They're very close. They're very physically
and he's
close.
got the full with his finger,
right?
And you're like, she's probably scared, but we know they have a sort of a relationship working in the same place,
right?
So, and she's obviously thinks he's kind of cute.
Yeah,
is that what we're led to believe?
I think that's what the movie has taught us so far in these first 18 minutes. Yeah. So then, because Blonsky looks down and he sees the rope, but he does not see anybody. Yeah, so Bruce is off the rope because if he wasn't, then he would be shooting down.
Exactly.
So they run past, and we see our last shot of Ricky
with the tranquilizer sticking out of his motionless corpse.
Yeah. Well,
not his corpse.
No, Ricky lives. I'm telling you.
Lives.
We're going to make a new Next Reel t-shirt. Ricky lives.
Oh, yeah. Ricky lives with a dog shape on the floor with a trank sticking out of him.
or like the halo around him that he's still out there somewhere. Ricky's still out there doing heroic dog works in Brazil.
It's cool too. Is on that shot is that I love that you could still see the bed and the pillows and everything and the wig just laying there.
It's some nice geography.
It's a great closing shot to that scene. I think that works out really well.
Because you know exactly where you are in the room because the door's to the right and guys are running through and so then they figure out that he's on the move, he's on the ground. He's on the ground. So they all go running out to the ground. Now, Bruce is smart enough that he's actually letting them run off first while he's hanging out in Martina's room. She must be on ground floor or near ground floor.
Right.
So he's hanging out in her room as he watches them run off. But he knows he can't stay because it puts her more in danger. That's Bruce's big thing, is not putting anyone else in danger. And so he says in Portuguese, he says, thank you. And then hops out, and then we get a last look as Martina watches him go, and that's when Deborah Nascimento exits the movie.
You missed
last shot.
You missed. He kisses her on the cheek.
Oh, that's right. He
does give her a little kiss on the cheek, which I was like, that's a little bold.
Exactly. Well, I'll say, but you never see her again.
You never see her again, so I understand that. But no, that was really nice. I thought that was a neat. Again, you look at these characters. Here's a character that her scenes in this movie are now concluded 18 minutes in, but they established a really nice. Mm-hmm. This continues the story of Bruce Banner as a tortured soul who...
Nice guy.
A nice guy. He's trying his best in a different world. This is somebody he certainly might have had a nice relationship with.
Yeah.
And he gets this tiny little moment of humanity in a chaotic whole experience that we're about to see is only going to get even far more chaotic.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of neat. I was like, again, this is does a really good job of presenting his character and what he's got to go through, but yet even through it, he's maintaining his humanity, which
yeah. And also they could have played this multiple ways of man seeing half-naked woman. And they played it, very calmly in terms of like, I'm as embarrassed as you are in this. Well, not as embarrassed, but close to.
Close.
Yeah, I mean, so they could have done like, hey, I mean, they could have done it a lot of different ways, but they didn't. So for that, in this very testosterone-y minute, they managed to restrain themselves.
So they restrain themselves. He's left. He escapes.
Yes. But where does he go?
He escapes. He's got clearly.
But where's he going?
That's all. Okay, he's lost his apartment.
Yes.
He's lost the place that he can
He
live.
has his backpack.
His heart rate can't get too high.
That's
This has got to be it. He's got to now escape to somewhere else, and everything takes a better turn. No,
That's what you're hoping.
is that what happens?
Oh well, I guess we'll find out where he goes. In minute 19.
You're saying that's not what happens?
I'm saying you got to tune in for minute 19 to find out where he goes from there. Will he get caught by the troops? Will he go his own separate way and like end up taking a long leisurely tour up through the Yucatan Peninsula as he's heading up towards the United States of America? Probably not.
Never forget you, Martina.
Thank you, Martina.
Thank you.
If you like what we're doing here or what we're doing over on the next reel, we have our own Patreon. Yes, you can actually support us financially for even just $1 a month. That would help us because podcasting hosting is not free. I wish it was, but it's not.
It takes time. There's expenses.
Yes.
And you can also just show your appreciation.
Yeah.
We know you're appreciative because you're listening, but you could
and we love our Patreons. All these episodes will come out early for them. So if you really need to know what happened, like where is he going after leaving Martina's room, you'll find out before anybody else if you become a Patreon.
Early access and special surprises.
That's right. So you can learn more about that at thenextreel.com/Patreon. We like and appreciate you all. So I hope you had a smashing good time. Thanks for listening. Until next time, true believers.
Bye.